All right, today we're diving into a solution that's really built for a very specific crowd: real estate wholesalers and investors. If that's you, then you know that the sound of a ringing phone, well, that's the sound of opportunity. But what happens when you're not there to answer it? I want you to just picture this for a second. You've spent thousands, maybe tens of thousands on a direct mail campaign. The phone is finally ringing, but you're on a walkthrough or you're stuck in traffic, you're just busy. You miss a call. And it's not just any call, it's from a truly motivated seller. By the time you get a free minute to call them back, they've already talked to the next investor on their list. This isn't some crazy one-in-a-million disaster. For most investors, it's just a regular Tuesday. And that everyday problem, it comes with a pretty shocking price tag, a negative $90,000. So what does that number actually mean for your business? Where does it come from? Look, this isn't some made-up number to scare you. It's actually based on some pretty conservative math. Think about it. If you lose just one solid deal a month because you can pick up the phone, and let's say your average assignment fee is around $7,500, well, that adds up. It adds up to a staggering $90,000 in lost revenue every single year. That's money that was right there for the taking, and then poof, it's gone. Now, this is where the math gets really brutal. Just look at how these stats stack on top of each other. So investors miss about 40% of their inbound calls. That's almost half. Bad enough, right? But then, of those people you miss, 85%, they're not going to leave you a voicemail. They just hang up and call your competitor. And here's the killer stat. Speed is everything. If you contact a lead in the first 5 minutes, you are 21 times more likely to convert them. And yet, the industry average response time is over 15 hours. The gap between what works and what people are actually doing, it's just massive. So that brings us right to our first section here. We're going to really break down this problem that, honestly, every single real estate investor faces whether they realize it or not. We're talking about the $90,000 missed call, the hidden and very real cost of an unanswered phone. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, hey, I've got a system for this. But let's be honest for a minute and look at the common solutions people use. Because what feels good enough is probably where those deals are slipping right through the cracks. Okay, so the first step for a lot of people is hiring an offshore virtual assistant, a VA. And the promise, it sounds amazing, right? A real human assistant for just $5 to $7 an hour. But the reality, well, it's often a totally different story. You're dealing with language barriers, constant retraining because of super high turnover, and most importantly, they just don't get the nuances of real estate investing. And after all that headache, you're still shelling out over $1,000 a month for someone who only works during business hours. All right, so what about a professional answering service? The promise there is that a real professional person answers the phone every single time. Sounds good. But here's the catch. They aren't trained to be you. They don't know how to qualify a lead. They can't tell the difference between a motivated seller and a tire kicker. All they do is take a message, and by the time you get that message and finally call back, that motivated seller has already had a full-blown conversation with your competition. And then there's voicemail. Let's just be blunt about this. Voicemail is where motivated sellers go to die. It's a deal graveyard. Remember that stat we just saw? 85% of callers will just hang up and move on. So if you're relying on voicemail, you are actively choosing to lose business. It's that simple. Okay, so if all the old solutions are broken, what's the answer? Well, this is where technology finally steps in to solve the exact problems we've been talking about. Let's get into the 24/7 AI solution. So what on earth is an AI voice agent? Put simply, it's a software system. It uses really advanced conversational AI to handle all your inbound calls. It answers 24/7, it asks the specific qualifying questions you need answers to, and it can even book appointments directly onto your calendar. And the crazy part? It does it all in a voice that sounds remarkably human. So here's a quick look at how it actually works step by step. First, it answers instantly. We're talking first ring, any time of day, any day of the year. Second, it qualifies the lead. It asks your custom questions about the property's condition, the seller's timeline, their motivation, you name it. Third, it takes action. If a lead checks all your boxes, boom, it books them right into your calendar. Fourth, everything automatically syncs to your CRM. The call log, a full transcript, even a lead score. No more manual data entry. And finally, step 5, it handles follow-up, running automated nurture sequences so no lead ever goes cold. All right, now for my favorite part,
the part that really makes the case, the data. Let's do a direct, side-by-side breakdown of the cost and the features. This is where the argument becomes, well, kind of unbeatable.
So let's start with the most obvious thing, the monthly cost. I mean, just look at the chart. An AI voice agent is way, way less expensive than both a live answering service and an offshore VA. We're talking half the cost, maybe even less, for a solution that, as you're about to see, does a whole lot more. But price is only half the story. This table right here, this is the whole ballgame. Just look at the key differences. Availability, the AI is on 24/7, 365 days a year. The others, not even close. What about actual real estate qualification? The AI is trained specifically on your criteria. The others are weak or have none at all. Simultaneous calls, the AI can handle an unlimited number at once. A VA can only handle one. And check out CRM integration and automated follow-up. The AI does it all automatically, which gets rid of all that tedious manual work and human error.
You know, this slide really reframes the whole decision, doesn't it? This isn't about spending money on some new, shiny tool. This is about preventing a huge financial loss. When you put the annual cost of an AI agent right next to that potential 90 grand in lost revenue, the choice becomes crystal clear. You're putting over $80,000 a year at risk simply by not having a system that can capture every single call.
So at this point, you probably have some questions swirling around, and that's totally normal. There are always a few common and very valid concerns that pop up when we talk about this stuff. So let's just tackle them head on. This is usually the number one concern, right? You hear AI voice and your mind immediately goes to those awful, choppy robocalls from like 5 or 10 years ago. But the tech has evolved so dramatically, that's just not the reality anymore. Modern AI is incredibly conversational, it's natural sounding, and you have to remember its role here. The AI is not there to close the deal. Its job is to handle that critical first touch, to get the info and to make sure that you get a chance to talk to the seller. The real conversation, the negotiation, the closing, that's still all you.
And what about the emotional side of things? You know, a lot of sellers are in a tough spot, a distressed situation. They need a human touch, some empathy. Can an AI really handle that? And you know what? That is 100% correct. The AI can't provide true human empathy, but that's not its job. Its job is to be the world's best, most efficient filter. It sifts through every single call to find the people who are genuinely motivated so that you can spend 100% of your time and your empathy on the conversations that actually matter, the ones that lead to deals.
And finally, the big one, the legal question. Are there compliance issues? Is it even legal to use an AI to answer your business phone?
The answer here is actually really clear. For inbound calls, and that's the keyword inbound, meaning people who are calling you, using an AI to answer the phone is fully legal and compliant. This is how the vast majority of investors use this tech, to make sure they capture every single lead that has already decided to pick up the phone and reach out. So we'll end with this one simple question. After all the money you spend on marketing, all the time you spend driving for dollars, all the hard work you put in just to make that phone ring, when a deal finally calls you, who or what is on the other end to pick up the phone?